Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dive into something really cool, a kind of spiritual map of reality drawn right from the heart of Islamic mysticism. We're going to explore this incredible idea that for a lot of Sufi and Shia thinkers, the entire universe, it's a path for meditation, a way back to the divine.
Okay, so let's jump right in with a big question. What if everything you see around you, the sun, a tree, even a building, what if it isn't just a thing? What if it's a message written in a kind of divine code? Well, that's the core idea we're digging into. And the key to cracking that code, it's all about what's called spiritual cosmology.
So, the foundation for this entire way of seeing the world is a concept called ramaz. It's an Arabic word for symbol. And it's this idea that every single outward thing has an inward meaning. So, a rose you see in a garden isn't just a plant. No, it's a symbol, a signpost, pointing to the beauty and the glory of God. In this reality, everything is pointing to something bigger than itself.
All right, so to really get this map, we're going to follow a very specific path, almost like a spiritual climb. We'll start with the language of symbols itself. Then, we'll look at the ancient Greek blueprint that gave it structure. We'll see how it got recoded using the language of the Quran, and from there, we'll actually map out this new cosmos. And here's the kicker. We'll discover how it exists not just out there, but inside you too. First stop on our journey, a world of symbols. Look, if we're going to read this cosmic map, we first have to learn its language, and that is the language of the unseen. Now, this is just fascinating. To even talk about experiences that are beyond our everyday words, mystics developed this whole toolbox of literary devices. We've already met Rams, the symbol. But then you have Ima, that's like a silent gesture towards a truth, with no explanation. Think of it like a knowing glance. Then there's Kanaya, which is a metaphor, and Ashara, an allusion to a truth so subtle, it's like trying to describe the taste of air. These aren't just fancy poetic terms. They are essential tools for mapping the inner world. Let's make this real with an example. The Kaaba in Mecca, it's obviously a central focus in Islam, but in this symbolic language, it's not just a physical building made of stone. No way. It becomes a rums, a symbol for the inner station of union, that point of ultimate closeness and connection with the divine. The outer object points to an inner reality. See how that works?
Okay, so we've got a world jam-packed with symbols, but what's the structure holding it all together? Well, for that, Islamic philosophers reached back in time and found a blueprint that was actually inherited from the ancient Greeks.
And that blueprint comes from a philosopher named Plotinus, who lived way back in the 3rd century. At the absolute tippy top of his system is what he called the One. Now, the One isn't a person or a being. It's the source of all being. It's perfect, it's complete, and it's so far beyond us that it's ultimately unknowable. Just picture a limitless, overflowing fountain of pure reality.
So, from the constant overflow of the One, the very first thing to emerge, or emanate, is the intellectual principle, or nous in Greek. If the One is pure, unlimited potential, nous is the first actual thing. It's the realm of perfect ideas, like a divine mind that contains the blueprint for every single thing that will ever exist. This is the first real being.
And then, from that intellectual principle, flows the all-soul, or psyche. The all-soul is the doer, the dynamic creative force. It kind of looks up at the perfect blueprints in the intellect, and then it looks down to shape and organize our messy material world. It's like the master artisan of the cosmos, sometimes called the demiurge, the craftsman that gives form to everything we see. And this just lays out that whole process so beautifully. Creation here isn't like a choice someone makes. It's this inevitable exuberance, this overflow from perfection. It's as natural as light just radiating from the sun. Each new level pops into being, turns back to look at where it came from, and in that very act of looking back, it generates the next level down. It's just this incredible, creative waterfall of energy. So the big question is, how did this Greek blueprint get brought into an Islamic worldview? Well, these thinkers couldn't just copy and paste it, right? They had to find where these ideas clicked with their own sacred text, the Quran. They had to learn its specific creative code. And what they found when they looked was that the Arabic in the Quran is incredibly precise. There isn't just one word for create. You have khalaq, which is about that primal creation, bringing something out of nothing. But then you have ja'ala, which is more like a potter shaping clay that's already there. Sawa is to perfect it, to polish it. And ansha'a is to make it grow, like a seed. The whole hierarchy is baked right into the language itself. So this is the key distinction you have to get. You have this primary act of creation from absolutely nothing, using words like khalaq, and then you have all these secondary acts, shaping, perfecting, ordering what's already been brought into existence. This two-tiered system is the secret key that lets the Greek model fit so neatly into an Islamic framework. All right, and now we get to the great synthesis. This is where it all comes together. We're going to combine that Greek blueprint with this new Quranic code to build the specific map of the Islamic cosmos. And here it is. This is the big aha moment. Check this out. Plotinus's unknowable one, it corresponds perfectly to Hakut, the absolute transcendent divine essence. His intellectual principle, that becomes Lahut, the universal intellect, which is often symbolized as the divine pen that writes everything. And his all-soul, well, that becomes the universal soul, symbolized as the tablet, on which the pen writes reality into existence. It's an absolutely perfect philosophical match. So this synthesis gave rise to these amazing models, like the 5 divine presences. It's basically a map of reality in 5 layers. You start at the top with Hahut, the absolute, unseen essence. That then unfolds into Lahut, the realm of all the divine qualities and names. Then you get Jabarut, the world of angels and pure power. Next, and this one is so important, is Malakut, the world of images and symbols, sometimes called the imaginal world. Think of it as the world of dreams. And finally, you get down to Nasut, which is our physical, sensory world. Okay, but this is where it gets really, really mind-blowing. This huge, grand map of the cosmos, it's not just about what's out there among the stars. It is also a precise map of what's in here. It's a mirror of the human soul. The Ismailis, for example, developed this idea of a divine pentad. They saw these 5 core principles: the intellect that understands, the soul that feels and desires, the power of expression, the ability to interpret or understand meaning, and the creative force of imagination. And they said these huge cosmic forces, they aren't just out there. They are the very faculties working inside you right now. The universe isn't just something you look at, it is a direct reflection of your own consciousness. And that brings us to our final destination, the summit of this whole journey. So why? Why does this beautiful, complex map even matter? Well, its purpose is intensely practical. It's a guide for the journey home. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. This entire cosmological system, it's not just some abstract philosophy to debate in a classroom. It is a spiritual technology. It's a meditative tool that's meant to be used to guide your own awareness from the outer world of stuff through the inner worlds of image and power, and all the way back to the divine source you came from. You might be thinking, wow, why is it so complicated? Well, as the great scholar R.A. Nicholson put it, mystics use this symbolic language because there is literally no other way to talk about these kinds of experiences. The map is complex because the territory it's describing, that inner reality, is just way beyond the limits of our normal everyday language. So let's end by turning that map back onto ourselves. If the entire cosmos is a symbolic map of the divine, a message in a code just waiting for us to read it, then what does the map of your own inner world look like? What are the symbols that are guiding your journey? That's something to think about.